All right. Funny. Okay. I'm here. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Yes, and I'm going to be straightening out this shirt. It's a butterfly one. So just let me show you. I got to show you the shirt. So it's a butterfly one. Time butterflies today. That's what it is. So I got this beautiful butterfly shirt. I picked it up. It's one of my finds that I found in um, the charity shop. Oh my goodness. I hate this. I'm trying to get everything situated. There we go. Oh my goodness, what a morning. Took the dog for a walk. Here we go. I know that's not a very good entrance. I am so sorry, everybody. For those who stay along and watch the replay, thank you so much. Thank you for those who join the live. My name's Mary June Tracy. Come to you with a 411 as above, so below. Spiritual love of life coach. I do astrology. I'm a psychic. I do tarot readings and all of that beautiful things. Love to do ghost hunting. Ooh, I haven't done that in a while. It seems to be calling me. So I might get out and do some ghost hunting this weekend. Just for a jaunt around and go for a little jaunt. Go for a little jaunt this weekend. Walk around, see. It's supposed to rain, so we'll see how it goes, you know. But I am so happy and grateful now that I am here with all of you. So let's just take a look at some of the astrology and see what's coming up today. Whew, we got a few things going on and some craziness that's happening. So let's take a look. Right on. So, as I should say, good morning, beautiful souls. It is May 14th, 2025, and we are standing in a swirling center of cosmic paradox. Yeah, where central Taurus meets this beautiful Saggy energy, and the world is feeling like I think a mix of spirituality and awakening, like a spiritual awakening, and a chaotic group project with no leader. So that's what I feel like. It's like, okay, we're spiritually awakening, but here we are in this place, and there's just like we're trying to find guidance. We're trying to find some kind of guidance in all of this. So let's get into it and let's dive into this beautiful energy. So we have Taurus with the sun, and the sun is at 24 degrees. And we all know what Taurus is. Taurus is grounding. Taurus is stubborn, sensuous. We're craving beauty, comfort, and perhaps the croissant. Croissant. I was watching. Oh, anyways, I was watching some foodies that go around eating in these restaurants, like in Paris and London and New York. Oh, just anyways, croissant. The size of our emotional baggage. And Taurus is like if when they want something, they want something. There's this one TikTok that I love to watch, and he is I think he's in Australia, and he was gonna go check the paddock, it wasn't in his rounds, but he just had a feeling. Let me go check the cows. Let me go see how the cows were. Like he goes, yeah, I fed them, they got water, I know that. Well, one little missy, she was in heat, decided to jump the fence and get in with, and I think there was like 30 bulls. There's quite a number of bulls. I'm not sure exactly how many bulls, but yeah, they all got a little bit of with the new little cow who was like feeling like, oh yeah, I just want all of this. And then all of a sudden they wanted more. And she was running around, and all these bulls were chasing her as she's running around. It's kind of like, you think it's a good thing to get in there, but then you find out it's not a good thing to get in there. So he did get her out. And it really was, yeah. So a lot of emotional baggage. that's going on here. And then this moon wants truth, adventure, but it's squaring off to Saturn. So it feels more like trying to, I don't know, take a hot air balloon, ride in a snowstorm. Like it wants to do something, wants to get out there, wants to feel something, but it's not. And then Mercury's in Taurus, the communication is steady, it's practical, and a little resistance to new ideas, very Taurian, right? But it wants to hear, it wants to understand, right? So the conversations might be more negotiable today. And with Mars and Leo, the big ego comes in. And if you see people fighting over a parking spot, like the Hunger Games, you know why. And that's the truth. It's like people are just it's funny because even like, even with Steve this morning, it's like I automatically turn off lights when I leave a room. And then he comes in, I just turn the light on. And I'm just like, okay. And I'm just like, okay, that's so, Mars and Leo. Like I could like even yesterday I went to the wrong thing for Mateus for soccer. Okay. Well, it said Killarney. I thought it was Killarney, whatever it is, the pond or place that he played the other day. Didn't realize that Killarney meant the Killarney swimming pool and that they have you know, soccer thingies behind the I didn't know. Like you didn't tell me. So, and she was a little bit in a huff, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, just chill. You're just lucky I'm just taking this child. So we also have Pluto and it's retrograde. Mars or Venus just is coming out of shadow. But still, that could cause a little bit of feistiness, and especially with the Venus Mars kind of square going on, right? But this Pluto is retrograde, so it's churning the underbelly of the collective structure. So truth bombs are being dropped. Some folks are dodging accountability like it's a dodgeball finally. I just heard in the States that people, if you they're starting to garnish wages and garnish wages for people who haven't been paying their student loan. And these are even with people like they're going after people who are seniors, like, who haven't paid their student loans. So they're going to be garnishing their old age security and stuff. So, or stopping it. And that could be that could cause a lot of problems. The states has a lot of, when it comes to freedom and everything like that, but then it has this other part that is like, you got the freedoms, but you still have to pay the toll kind of thing. I mean, yes, you should be paying your student loan, but I feel like there's this harshness that comes with it too, kind of like a double-edged sword, you know? That's my word today, So relationships. So we got Venus and that Mars squaring. And it's a, yeah, I want love. I want things, but we got to be careful not to project the unmet needs, right? And it comes in some exact flavors with a sprinkle on top, like, but only like this is what you want. I want this, only this that I want. And we want it to look a certain way, we want it to feel a certain way, and it has to be this way or I don't want it. So we're really wanting, it's that projection of unmet needs. So we got to really watch that with relationships, in all kinds, right? And then with that moon in Sag is like freedom. It brings an urge to roam free. I mean, that is the traveling sign. They want to go out and travel. They want to go out and meet people, want to go out and do things. And I need space, especially in close partnerships. So wanting to have that space. So if love feels like a cage today, open the door for yourself or for them. Like open the door. If you're feeling caged up, open the door. Sometimes that's the scariest thing to do because it's like you want it to feel a certain way, you want it to be a certain way, and yet you don't want to let them go or you don't want to let that freedom, be. So, yeah, I'd get some rose quartz to soften the communication. Damiana is, it's a fabulous herb. It is from Mexico, and it's for opening the heart and the fire. So allowing the Damiana to come in. You can bring Damiana in as a tea. That's how I usually do a lot of my herbs like this. So Damiana is in as a tea, and Lang Lang. That's for beautiful balance. So if you're dealing with anything to do with relationships, that's definitely the combination, which would be very like doing a little meditation, having your tea, a little bit of lang lang going on, and then having your quartz crystal there, and just allowing yourself to open up. So as we have the relationships, we're going to go look at the money market. It's volatile. Markets are as volatile as TikTok trends, right? So this is like Taurus energies usually brings financial grounding, but with Uranus and Taurus, it's shaking things up. And one day it's gold, and next day it's goat yoga coin, you know. So this is like things could just go so erratic. I like the thought when I said goat yoga coin. It was just like, yeah. I mean, they Bitcoin, they make up all these different coins, and if you don't know anything about Bitcoin, it's just like, I don't know, it just sounds pretty dodgy to me. So expect surprises, changes in the commodities, food prices, tech related investments. Watch for AI backlash. There's a lot of AI backlash now that the Pope has spoken out about AI. It's bad, it's evil. You're getting a lot of people that are coming out, even spiritual people that are coming out and saying how bad and evil AI is. It's how you utilize it, and that's the whole thing with everything. They said TV was bad and evil. I mean, yeah, your phone is bad and evil, your computer is bad and evil, gamers are bad and evil, this is bad and evil. Going to virtual reality, now, for birthday parties, there's birthday parties are virtual reality. You know, they have all of these things. It's like, this is bad, condemn, instead of saying, okay, what can we utilize this for? How can we make this so that we can create more harmony and peace? How can we create more of a balance? But everybody wants to go to an extreme right now. So there's a lot of that extreme. And Pluto's going, in Aquarius, and it's retrograde. It's going to expose a lot of the corruptions or manipulations in the digital currency. It's going to show you. I mean, look what happened to Spain. The lights went out and nobody had any. You couldn't use your phone and go ding. You had to have cash, right? And even in some of the places that I find where a lot of people are traveling right now, money Charlene, where I find people are traveling, the dog upstairs, that when they go to certain places or they're going on the train, they're asking for cash. They don't want to take digital, and which is interesting because they're finding that they have to get some kind of paper money in order to pay. And paper money, I think, even when it loses its value, is still going to be around because people are so trained to utilize it. So having some paper money around is a good thing, right? Making sure you have it. And I know I've been saying that for years. I know a few people that I know have stored up quite a bit of money on their in their house, and this is where it's like, be have enough money in your house that you feel comfortable to have. I wouldn't suggest somebody, I mean, unless you feel comfortable with it. If you got like 40, $50,000 lying around in your house, make sure you have it in a good spot, that a good, I guess, a good hiding spot. You know what I just thought of is somebody wrapping their money. This is what I just had this visual of somebody putting their money in a plastic bag, sealed and everything else, and then putting it under their garden bed or something like that, or underneath their plants. So, I mean, people used to bury money in cans and put it in their backyard. So, definitely having some kind of money and stuff like that would be very good. So, don't put all your eggs in crypto basket, especially if the basket's virtual. So you got to be very careful about virtual. You got to be very careful about the crypto. And I'm just going by the astrology. I'm not a financial advisor. Trust me, I'm not. I am far from being a fucking financial advisor. If you look at my finances, you'll say, no, she knows fuck all. I'm just going by the astrology. That's all I'm giving you guys is the astrology. And if you'd like, you could buy me a coffee. Definitely. That would be absolutely fabulous if you want to buy me a coffee. Put that up on my Instagram and my Facebook today. So, buy me a coffee is my theme, and I'm gonna stick with it. So, because I know a lot of I'm gonna go off on a thing. I know a lot of people can't afford my readings, even though when I put them on sale for $88, a lot of people still find that expensive. A lot of people find the $50 ones expensive. So I try and do what I can, but my regular readings are $200. I feel I'm worth more than that. I feel my readings should be higher than that, especially when I see others are charging $250 to $500 for a reading, right? And I feel like, but I still think $200 isn't a bad price for what I give you in a reading. Anyways, I digress. So, if you want to help me out and keep things going, especially keeping this business going, keeping me coming here, you can buy me a coffee and bring in the citrine for abundance. That's what I do. I have a lot of citrine. Bring in that citrine in for abundance, and also basil for prosperity. If you want to plant something and you want to bring in some abundance in for you, purple basil would be fabulous. I've seen a lot of people, doing purple basil, and so plant some basil. I mean, if you're really good, I'd do, if you're able to plant a lot, because it's going to help. Basil is great. It's an enhancer. That's what basil does. It enhances things. So it enhances the flavor of things, and you know, putting it in your sauce. And patchouli, and I do have some patchouli um incense. I'm going to light some of that and bring in the patchouli and stuff like that, because I don't know. So much is going through my mind right now. Like I'm looking at, this is a time people are out gardening, doing things, camping's coming up and everything else. I just feel like your spirituality is something that needs to be constant kind of thing, trying to have that constant. But I get it. I remember when we used to camp as a kid, and no matter where we were camping, my mom and dad would find out where the local Catholic church was. We did not miss mass, right? So we would be going to mass in, wherever we were camping, that a lot of times it was Peachland. So we'd be going to Peachland if we couldn't get into. So we would go up to, another place. If we were staying at my aunt's in Oyama, which is outside of Kelowna, we would go to her little local church, right? So we never missed out. Like my dad would never miss out on going to mass unless something crazy was happening, even if we had to travel that day. I remember, like, even if we had to travel, and I remember one time it was like we left early in the morning, but dad timed it that we got into this one town. I can't even remember what it was, that we were able to go to church. That's how much, that's how important it was for him, right? His spirituality was very important to him, and going to mass and receiving the Eucharist was a very important thing for him. So I feel that's kind of distilled on me that your spirituality, your prayer, your meditation, and that is important. It's as important as understanding your money and your relationship with God and the goddess. What is that relationship that you do have? And the astrology that is coming through is really coming in and trying to drive that home for people, and trying to drive that home to get people to awaken to, you know, um, to start, you know, taking grips. But I feel like it's almost where, with the chart, from Taurus Sun, Saturn, Sagittarius Moon to Cancer Rising. I did this at 8:50. I did the chart at 8:59 Edmonton time, so the Cancer is rising. There's a whole lot of energy dancing between fantasy and reality. It's like wearing a silk robe to a survival training camp. You're just and I feel like that's probably what people are like, okay, I need to go here. I need, but there's no direction. I want to give you direction. So I want to help you the best I can and help to open your lives to more prayer and more meditation and connecting you in different ways to the divine. So, anyways, went off on a tangent on that, didn't I? Just love when I start waffling off on different places, right? And that brings me into also not only your spiritual part, but your health and body. I've been posting a lot about what is it, black girl shower, and reposting it and sharing it with people. And the reason I'm doing that is that they have some really good information on keeping, doing things for your body and how to loofah it, what kind of oils and stuff to use. I know some people can't use a lot of the oils, but it's just different ways of cleansing and clearing. And you wouldn't believe how many people do not know how to shower. Just saying. Or who haven't been taught. And it's not here that we judge them, but a lot of people have not been taught that. There's a lot of things that um, your mom may not have told you, or your aunt, or your sister, or what have you, right? It wasn't a conversation that was had, as especially as a young girl was getting older. So I think this is like that's one of the great things when you're looking at things like TikTok and places like that is where yeah, there's butterflies on my shirt. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Um, there's when it comes to hygiene, you know, and especially when we have, and here's the other thing, and no offense, well, people are going to take offense, especially when you have a lot of new immigrants that are coming in and new people coming in. A lot of those women aren't taught hygiene. They're not. They're basically left to their own self defense, right? And where things like this, and they find out about this, and it's like, and it's not as embarrassing if you're watching a TikTok on it, or you see it up on Instagram, or you see that somewhere. It's sort of, it allows for you just like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, right? And this is where it's like, especially when women are in a controlled environment, especially by men, so they're not always, it's not always prevalent around them, right? Did you purchase it? At the charity shop. That's where I purchased this. I purchased it. All my stuff except for my bra, I purchased at the charity shop. So that's where I purchased it. Um, and this is where I feel, and I purchased my mug at the charity shop too. Mm, good. Um, get off. But when it comes to your health and body, and I think that's so important for you, I think for all of us to look at our health and our body. This is where, especially Saturn is squaring over to the moon, or the moon's squaring over to Saturn. It's a good day to pause and check in with your body, especially if you're overdoing it or you're ignoring signs of burnout. Those two things, I mean, for me, are two things that I realize I can get into burnout very easily. Being a projector, I work like a manifestor generator, and I want to do, and I want to go, but I'm doing this and doing that, and then I just get to a point where I'm just like, I my brain is fried, and I know I have to do things, but it's just very difficult for me to do them or to continue on, and especially if I'm not getting a response. And that's the whole thing about projectors, not getting a response from people, or not thinking that, the thing is that you end up thinking, well, I guess I'm not good enough to do this. Nobody's buying anything. Nobody's, engaging in anything. So to do it on a day-to-day basis and not having engagement is really difficult. Where I know for a lot of, I've seen manifesto generators, especially it's like, no, I'm going out doing this. Here I am. I'm just doing this, and it's like I don't know. It's just like this energy can come around them very easily. It seems, I know they have their issues and everything else, but I'm glad I'm not a reflector. Oh my God. Because reflectors would be, because you have to wait for each moon cycle to respond to something. So you really have to understand the flow with things. Reflectors can get really sick very easily because of the energies that are coming in, because they're reflecting what's going on around them, right? That's what they do. So they need to have time to, um, they need to have that time to digest what it is, because if you're a reflector and you're reflecting things, I have one reflector in my that I know of. They're very rare to have a reflector. Sorry about the dog, but she hears the dogs upstairs. But this is where being a projector is, that you got to be constant. Just continue doing what you're doing, and then allow invites, allow the information to get out to where it needs to get out. That's what you got to do, and sometimes that can be very difficult. So your mental health is tender now, and especially for those pressures to have it all together. Like right now, especially with that Saturn and Moon squaring, it's like you want to have it together. Saturn is coming to the end of Pisces, and it's very, trying to control the ether in the boundaries. And here's the moon in Sag. Well, I want to get out there. I want to do things. I want to explore things. So it's like it's that tug of war that you're having right now. Milk thistle to support your liver, baby. Get the milk thistle. It is absolutely fabulous. I was actually thinking about milk thistle the other day, and bringing in some milk thistle into my regime, because it helps to support, things, and how, especially your liver, as it's, filtering things through. So milk thistle and amethyst. Amethyst goes with everything. Just saying. Amethyst is the go-to crystal for grounding. It's the go-to crystal if you're trying to sleep. It's the go-to crystal if you got headaches. It's just, it's an all-round beautiful crystal. She's the girl to go to. So get your amethyst. Right? So amethyst is the one to go for, right? And frankincense. Frankincense, beautiful. It's another one that's a go-to, right? So if you're starting out to get things going, right? One of the things that you should have in your little tickle trunk is an amethyst and frankincense. Two very go-to items that are basically good for everything. Amethyst is really great if you want to get rid of things too, because it is a protector, but it still allows that beautiful energy to come in. And also with what do you call it? Frankincense. Frankincense is a really beautiful one that brings in calmness and peace. And it's also a good one for protection as well. So bringing in a little bit of those, absolutely fabulous. So that's with your health and body. So you want to bring in that spiritual and that physical alignment, because it is so, so important. Because right now, everything seems out of whack, including my dog, which is going freaking out in the background. But everything just feels out of whack. This is what I say. It's, you're wearing your silk robe and you're going out on a wilderness hike. You're not, you don't feel properly prepared for things. And the world scene doesn't help. The politics, the war, the markets. Pluto's retrograde in Aquarius. So the global consciousness trying to detox from bad leadership and deep manipulation. I mean, we're feeling betrayed. We're feeling betrayed as, of people of a country. That's our root chakra, right? That's our tribe. And our tribe, we're all feeling this betrayal, right? It's being shaken up. And Pluto was in Capricorn for 15 years, awakening us, shaking things up, the government, the institutions, it's these, the hospitals and our medical system. It was shaking us up to see things and say, hey, things are pretty fucked up right now, everybody. Do you see what's going on? Are you looking? And this is like, we're feeling that how we've been manipulated, how we've been, things being said, and then we find they're not true. right? And so we're trying to get through this, and this Pluto retrograde is expect power plays behind the scenes. Pluto retrograde brings in power plays. It brings in secret societies. It brings in, things that are unseen and wants to bring it up, right? So there's possibly I got something to do around data, AI, and political transparency. We just saw this huge thing and everybody's making this big do. Oh, look at Trump. All right. He's all, I mean, he's the biggest news. I mean, these guys are probably just raking it in. It's because Trump got elected and they're like, oh, thank God, our ratings are going to go up now. But the energy is that, I mean, he just went into Saudi Arabia. Big, huge deals. Sure, there were deals there that we're not going to be told about. There were arms deals that were going on there, right? And then he's given a $400 million plane. I don't think he can take it because by law they're not allowed to take gifts over $200. So he might donate. He might graciously say thank you. And it's a pretty funky plane too. It has a master bed. It's like a whole house in the air. That's what it is. So anyways, but the thing is that we're feeling that, and that Mars in leadership, we want world leaders that are bold and proud and dangerous. Grandstanding and dramatic moves are likely. We're seeing that. We're seeing these bold moves. We're seeing these grandstands that are coming out. And conflicts are going to escalate with that because we have that Mars and Leo. It's just like, I'm not going to stand down. I'm going to assert who I am. I'm going to be the one. Look at me, kind of thing. Right. And especially in regions, tied to fire and air signs. So we're going to see a lot of energy starting to rise up and a lot of explosions. I keep on seeing a lot of explosions. I know there has been, but I feel like there's going to be a lot. And there's also where people are going to be rising. Through all of this, we get these beautiful, and this is how I see these flames, and I see these people rising up. Like Project Veritas, he used to own it. He's coming out and he's in hiding right now, but he's coming out with information, like all of this information from the Epstein and the island and everything else. So this is where and through what he's doing, he's getting a lot of whistleblowers coming through, and he's wanting to protect these whistleblowers that are coming through with all of this. So people are rising, but it's scattered. So think of, we're in a time of protests. Protests are going to be coming in, whistleblowers, a lot of I told you so emerging on a global dialogue. So a lot of information, more information is going to be coming out, especially around COVID, around the shot, around everything, and that we're going to start hearing that, and that's going to make people like feel either guilty, shamed, and I don't think anybody should feel guilty or shame for what happened. But this is where it's like, with all of this information that's coming in, we also have to realize that with that, there's going to be new medicine, new medical information that is going to come through all of this as well. So, my prediction, watch news from Europe and the Middle East. Sudden reversals or disclosures may shift public opinion fast. So, things around Europe, Middle East, things are going to start going crazy there. We just had Russia. I think they put tanks on the border of Finland. Yeah, on of Finland. So high tension. Things are getting tense out there. So truth is rising, right? But not quietly, but undeniably. So things are rising. Things are getting a little bit cray cray out there. And as they get crazy, this is where people, um, are scrambling and wanting to scramble and stuff like that. So just one moment, some writing. I'm talking away, and people are Charlene's writing here. You can buy greens too. That is really good for the liver. Beets and cinnamon would be a good for the flesh. Oh, I wouldn't put beets and cinnamon together. That would be gross. It's also good for body aches too. Mm. Not. I don't know. Beets are okay. I'm not a huge beet fan. So, Greens, I eat greens every day. So greens are a part of my diet every day. But milk thistle is the one that came to me today and has been coming to me for the last couple days and stuff. So yeah, but beets and green cinnamon. That's an interesting combo. I don't think of it that way. But anyways, it probably is good if you put it in a smoothie or something. So, but as I move on with everything here, so I wanted to throw in something a little bit fun today, before I get into some spiritual highlights, but it's the fashion vibe and looking at the fashion vibe. I've been noticing that it is very much a sailor vibe for that's very trendy for the spring and going into the summer. Striped shirts, sort of wide pants that are just below the knee, a lot of things with rope and stuff. Uh, Same with the bags and stuff, the satchels and that are coming in. So sort of that a very much a Norwegian fashion that's coming in. I noticed, but there's also where, and especially with the Taurus and Leo combo, a lot of lush fabrics are coming in. So bold accessories and comfort with flair. So there's a lot of things to do with comfort, but you want to be out. You want to feel comfortable with what you're doing, and especially with accessories. So a lot of things to do with accessories. I've seen some real kind of clunky kind of jewelry, crystal clunky jewelry, and that are very seem to be trending, along with some gold tones with earthy neutrals. Silk jumpsuits is another one. I've seen a lot of jumpsuits and what are they called? I'm a word went to kangaroos, but it's not. But it's anyways, it'll come to me. But anyways, a lot of like one piece sort of little outfits and stuff like that with just a bandeau around the breasts and things like that. That's what I see. So something very, very easy, very breezy, wanting to go into the summer months. A lot of purple saffron and nude pinks. Channel the Venus and Libra from last. It's this influence, this aesthetic energy coming in and wanting to bring in this aesthetic. So I like that purple and saffron. So the purple and then the bright sort of orangey yellow colors coming forth. And this is what I love to do is I love to go around and window shop, right? And I do go to thrifting quite a bit. I love thrifting, but looking around and seeing, what's trending, and then go thrifting. Like, just take a look. Just go on. You could go on to TikTok or one of those places and say, fashion trends. And it'll pop up all the fashion trends that are coming up and what's new for the jumpers and things like that, and shoes and the styling of shoes that are coming in. A lot to do with comfort when it comes to shoes, and a lot more a few heels, not as much as before, but I'm looking at, things that are coming in. I'm looking at a lot more styling coming in that is really for comfort. Yet uh, on the flip side, if someone's going out, there's a huge thing to do with elegance and looking good and having yourself together kind of things. Like, you can be comfortable and everything else, but I feel like, adding those little accessories and little things for your hair and things like that. I feel like people are really wanting to get into um something that is aesthetically pleasing and looking and just looking very trendy, looking not trendy, but looking, I guess a fashionable sense. I saw a little bit when I was in the mall. There were usually Asian girls that would be dressing up, and they'd be dressing in these dresses with crinolines and stuff underneath, and the glasses, and very sort of late 50s, early 60s kind of style. I noticed a lot was coming in, so things like that are quite cool. So So there you go. All right. So Charlene, I'm going to say to you, why don't you just become a holistic nutritionist for people and start doing that and start promoting being a holistic nutritionist for people. That would be an absolute fabulous thing for you. No, it's not. You already got a lot of the information. I mean, you could go out and you can do this, but you got all the information and you're giving people information. So, and you're already doing teas and everything else. So I don't see why not. You could do postings on it, right? You could do Instagram postings on it. You could do Facebook. You could do a little video on it, on what you're doing in the kitchen. Set your camera up and videotape yourself doing this stuff. So, I mean, you don't have to go to school for it. You got the knowledge, you're reading the books. Yeah, you're learning about it. So, spiritual insight, moon square, the moon square Saturn. Um, it's to grow up spiritually, not with heaviness and not, but with devotion. And that's really, as I said earlier on, it is all about devotion. And Neptune in Aries is birthing a dreamer as a warrior. We are being asked to dream better, to fight fair, and to anchor divinity into action. And my affirmation for you today is I plant my truth in fertile ground and may it bloom with love, strength, and um, divine things, divine timing. Sorry. This is where the tower card is reversed. It's not collapsing, we're restructuring. We're restructuring and we're in a 20-year trend of restructuring. So it's not like it's going to be done overnight. So I want to wrap you up, all of you, in this beautiful, dazzling rose quartz and wear a silk robe like it's your armor and sip your tea with wisdom. And the world may be chaotic, but your inner altar is the true power source. Go light a candle, go put some incense on today, call in the divine, and remember, you are the revolution in soft form. And that's great. And that's beautiful. And allow yourself to step into this beautifulness and this transformational energy that is coming in and step forward in it. Step forward in it. And may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless you. And if you want, buy me a coffee. Love it. And if you want, join me for my class on Aries and Neptune on May 24th from 10 to 3. It's going to be very insightful for you to get into understanding what this Aries and Neptune in Aries and Saturn coming in, and the transformation and changes that this energy is bringing in for all of us, and what it's setting forth. This is like, it's almost like resetting a timer or a clock, and we're stepping into this. And this trend is, yeah, they might meet every 36 years, 38 years, but they haven't met at 0 degrees Aries like this, and fully next February in the Geo, but they haven't really met like this. Some astrologers say 6,000 years, others say 10. Like, it's been a while. So I just want to give you a helping hand in a lot of the changes that are happening. So there you go. Thank you for joining me. I went over again. I want to keep these down to like 25 minutes, and it's 45 minutes that I went into these. Anyways, have a blessed one, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon. Alrighty? Bye-bye.